Welcome to Your Startup Community, where we unpack the messy magic of building entrepreneurial ecosystems. I'm Chris Heivly, former SVP of Ecosystem Development at Techstars, author of Build the Fort, the Startup Community Builder's Field Guide, a longtime blogger and speaker about founders, startups, and startup communities, and your host. I've worked with hundreds of ecosystems enthusiasts across 20 plus countries and helped grow cities from meh to magnetic. In this podcast, we'll walk the talk. No hype, no fluff, just practical insights to help you and your startup community grow. So let's dive in. Hey folks, this is the Your Startup Community podcast. And today we're going to talk about one of the most underrated, most misunderstood, and most powerful tools you've got in your community building toolbox. We're talking about mentorship. Not mentoring as in, I once gave a talk to a room of 50 people. We're talking about real, one-on-one, vulnerable, show up and do the work mentorship. The kind that transforms a founder's journey, reshapes a startup community, and gives both mentor and mentee something way more valuable than just another LinkedIn connection. The title of today's episode is Mentorship Matters a Lot, and I mean that with every ounce of my community building soul. So let's start with this simple question. Why does mentorship matter so much in a startup community? Well, for one, it's free. And I don't mean free like a buy one, get one deal. I'm talking about kind of no strings, no invoice, and no quid pro quo required. That's easy for me to say. That's what makes mentorship different from being an advisor. Advisors usually have a defined relationship: equity, money, functional expertise, and of course, a contract. Mentors, they just show up because they believe in you, or they believe in what you're building, or they believe in the idea that startup success is something you pass down, not something you hoard like your Uncle Tommy and his National Geographic magazines. It's this freely given exchange of time and wisdom that powers a vibrant startup ecosystem. And when it's done right, when both sides lean in, magic happens. So here's the part that people get wrong. Great mentorship isn't just about the mentee. This is a two-way street. A good mentor relationship is reciprocal. The mentor learns, the mentee learns. The mentor gets energized, and the mentee gets insight. It's like jumper cables where both batteries get better. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Building something meaningful is never a solo endeavor. You need people who've been through it, people who have the scars and the stories. And if you're further along, then somebody out there needs you. Because let's be honest, this startup thing is lonely. It's confusing, sometimes terrifying, and always thrilling. And sometimes it's all of these in the same day. We need each other to make sense of the chaos. Now, not all mentorship is created equal. You can't just plug someone into a 12-week curriculum and call it a day. What I've seen work best and what I've lived is this. One, one-on-one mentorship that's network driven, not just programmatic. Two, showing up vulnerable. Yes, you, both mentor and mentee. Three, talk about the hard stuff. And I'm talking about both functional in terms of business building and emotional. And four, share your network when you're tapped out. This happens just about every week in my office hours. So let's break these four things down. First one, kind of network style, not programmatic. Mentorship works best when it's organic. You meet someone, you click, you dig into their startup, you offer some thoughts, and then you meet again. Or maybe they ping you with a question. Then 3 weeks later, they ask for an intro to someone in your network. That's real. That's how trust gets built. That's network style mentorship. It's fluid, it's responsive, and it's based on human connection, not a mentor program. I've seen way too many programs try to force mentorship into a time slot. Mentor office hours every third Thursday from 2 to 4. It's a good start, but it doesn't often create that deeper relationship. I've also seen mentor programs that assign a mentor to a founder. This almost never works out. The relationship dynamics are out of sync. Most mentors operate as their boss more than their peer. You want to help founders grow? Be there when they don't have the words. Be there when they're burned out, when they're scared, when they need someone to say, hey, I've been here, and here's what I did. Second, showing up vulnerable. I know vulnerability sounds like a soft word in a hard world, but you want real mentorship? Drop the act. Mentees, don't pretend you have it all figured out, because you don't. None of us do. And mentors, don't pretend you had it all figured out either. You didn't. None of us did. You got to show up human, honest, raw sometimes. I can't tell you how many amazing sessions I've had where the real progress started after someone said, can I be honest with you about something that's been keeping me up at night? That's the moment. That's the opening. That's where the gold is. 3, talk about the hard stuff. Functional stuff is important, sure. Pricing, customer acquisition, hiring, pitch decks, all that stuff. But don't stop there. Talk about the emotional stuff too. The imposter syndrome, the co-founder tension, the fear of failure, the I don't know if I can keep doing this moments. We don't talk about this enough. We don't give founders space to admit they're struggling emotionally, not just tactically. Mentorship is that safe space. If you're a mentor, ask the questions no one else is asking. How are you sleeping? What are you hiding from your team or your spouse? What's scaring you the most right now? And if you're a mentee, bring those questions to the table. I promise a real mentor won't flinch. 4, share your network. Sometimes as a mentor, you'll reach a point where you don't know the next answer. That's okay. You don't have to be an all-knowing guru. What you can do is open your network, make an intro, recommend someone. Say, hey, you should talk to Maria. She's been through this exact thing. Your network is your superpower, but it's only powerful if you're willing to use it for others. This is where the give first mindset from Techstars comes in. Give first, without expectation, without a contract, without a fee. If we all did more of that, our startup communities would move faster, be healthier, and grow stronger. If you've never read the Techstars Mentor Manifesto, go Google it right now, or I'll save you the trouble. It's 18 simple points. It's like the Bill of Rights for startup mentors. Brad Feld, co-founder of Techstars and author of Startup Communities, helped shape this thing. My favorite line and a perfect example from the manifesto: be responsive. That's it. Not be brilliant, not be perfect. Just show up, answer the email, return the call, be there. Another gem: listen too. Yeah, mentorship is more listening than talking. You're not a keynote speaker. You're kind of like the mirror. Brad also just put out a new book called Give First, and it's one of those books that feels like a warm blanket and a wake up call at the same time. He talks about how the idea of give before you get transformed not just Techstars, but entire startup ecosystems. I can attest to that. You see, mentorship is community. Let me zoom out for a second. If you want a strong startup community, you need capital, you need talent, you need infrastructure, but most of all, you need relationships. And mentorship is the glue that holds those relationships together. You want to know if your community's on the right track? Look at your mentors. Are they accessible? Do they show up regularly? Are they sitting on panels or are they in the trenches? Do they make intros? Are they building people up without expecting anything in return? That's your signal. And if you're listening to this and thinking, damn, I'm not doing enough, guess what? That's your cue. Step up, show up, share your scars, and ask better questions. If you're further along in your journey, be the mentor you wish you had. If you're earlier in your journey, ask for mentorship. But don't ask for someone to fix your problems. Ask for someone to walk the path with you. You kind of have to develop the mindset to ask for help as a mentee. Let's flip this around and talk to the folks who need mentorship, but don't quite know how to ask for it. Here's what I've learned after years of meeting founders in coffee shops, on Zoom, and in co working spaces. Asking for help is not a weakness, it's actually a startup strength, but it takes some mindset work to get there. First, you've got to give yourself permission to not know everything. The best founders I know are confident as hell and full of questions. That's not a contradiction, it's the key to growth. They ask for help early and often, not because they're lost, but because they're smart enough to know they don't have to do it alone. Second, make the ask easy. You don't need a long email or a pitch deck. Try something like this. Hey, I've been following your work and I'd really value your thoughts on something I'm struggling with. Do you have 15 to 20 minutes sometime in the next couple weeks? That's it. No one wants to be your mentor if you act like you've got it all figured out. But show a little vulnerability, ask a good question, be direct and respectful of their time. You'd be amazed who says yes. Now let's swing the spotlight back to the mentors. If you're kind of further along and thinking, yeah, I'd like to give back, but no one ever asks, I got news for you. You might not be as accessible as you think. You've got to make it clear that you're available. That starts with showing up. Yes, physically, especially in nascent or developing communities where the norms around mentorship aren't really fully baked in yet. Here's a couple ideas. Host an open office hours, in person if you can, nothing fancy. Find a table at a local coffee shop and block off 2 hours. Invite founders to stop by. Or offer virtual slots. For busier folks or founders in different parts of the city or region, a Calendly link with a 2 30-minute sessions per week can change someone's life. And lastly, attend events and proactively mingle. Don't be the mentor staying off in the corner checking your phone. Put your phone away, put it in your pocket, turn the ringer off, and then go out there and make eye contact, introduce yourself, and of course, ask great questions. And here's the big one. Be the first one to say yes first. Founders don't always know how to approach you. Normalize the idea that mentors are here to help. In early stage communities, you almost have to over communicate your availability. Put your time where your mouth is. Don't wait to be asked, but offer. And if you're part of an existing program like Techstars or a local incubator, go beyond the program. Be visible. Be human. Be willing to take a meeting that's not on your official schedule. And if you want to grow your community, you've got to plant yourself in it. So let me be clear about something that I wish more people understood. Everyone is a mentor. You don't need gray hair, a successful exit, or 10 years of experience to be helpful. If you're one step ahead of someone else, you've got value to offer. So let's say you're a founder who just hit your 1 year mark. You're probably still in the thick of it, right? You're figuring things out day by day. But guess what? To someone who just started yesterday, you're kind of a lighthouse. You've already dealt with incorporation and customer discovery, hiring your first person, building an MVP, blah, 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 blah. All that kind of messy, kind of first year stuff. But that experience is gold, especially someone who doesn't have it. So don't wait until you, quote unquote, arrive to give back. Start now. Mentor the folks just getting started. Doesn't have to be formal. It might just be a coffee or a text thread or one meeting that helps them get unstuck. I call this the one step ahead model. And in strong startup communities, this is how mentorship scales. Now, I want to finish by doubling down on something that doesn't get enough airtime: the emotional side of mentorship. Yes, you'll talk about tactics around fundraising and product decisions and growth strategies, but you also hear the hard stuff. I think I'm failing. I don't know how to tell my co founder this isn't working. I feel like an imposter, or I'm exhausted. And when that happens, your job as a mentor is not to fix it. Your job is to listen, and I mean really listen. Sometimes mentorship is about helping someone find the path, but a lot of times it's just sitting beside them when the path disappears. Empathy is the superpower here. not answers, not brilliance, just being there. A real mentor holds space for all of it: the confusion, the fear, the frustration, and the hope. If you can give someone the gift of being heard without judgment, without rushing to solution mode, you've already changed their trajectory. So here's your challenge this week. If you're a founder, reach out to someone you admire and ask for 20 minutes of their time. Come with honest questions and not just a pitch. If you're a mentor, make time for one founder. Ask how they're doing. Open a door. Share your story. You don't have to be famous or funded to be a mentor. You just need to be present, one step ahead, and willing to listen. Do that once a week, every week, and that's how you build a startup community, with people showing up for each other, one human at a time. Because at the end of the day, mentorship matters a lot, and not just for the mentees, for all of us. Thanks for listening to this week's deep dive into the art and science of startup community building. If you like what you heard, subscribe, share, and maybe even shout it from your rooftop co-working space. You can also catch my weekly blog on the Techstars blog under POV. Until next time, keep showing up, build those connections, and as always, give first.